Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of Corporate Coffee. My name is Saman Mazhar. I am your host today. I'm an OD consultant facilitator. As the name says, it's a corporate coffee. It will be raw, it will be brewed, it will be bold, and it will be powerful. Based on one fiery question that I will be asking my guest here today, Faiza Tariq, a veteran HR lady who's been in the field for over years and seasons of experience that she has. She's a senior HR consultant. Thank you very much, Faiza, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So, now when I told you I will be asking you one fiery question, what came to your mind?
Lots of things, lots and lots of fiery questions.
Lots of things. Knowing me, I could be asking anything like that now that I have you on the hot seat.
Absolutely.
So if I do ask you one question, which you have to be absolutely raw, as the entire theme of the thematic of this entire episode is, is it better to have a disengaged employee who the leadership knows is disengaged, or are there people who are disengaged as leadership and not doing anything about it? Are there people that you have experienced so far? Do they even know who their disengaged employees are? Or यहाँ पे अपनी गाफलत में वो बैठे हुए हैं? Don't smile at me. क्यों? जो होता है ना कि हम गाफिल हैं, नहीं सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा है, सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा है. क्या सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा है?
सब कुछ ठीक नहीं चल रहा है. So I think if I was to answer that, what is better के बजाय what is worse? I think that's the way to look at it. And I think what is worse is a disengaged leadership. Disengaged employee आपकी productivity को hit करता है. Disengaged leadership is a liability. It costs you the truth of the organization. And I think it's high time, even in the Pakistani culture, we call it out for what it is. And we actually hold the leadership accountable for their disengagement, because ultimately affects the entire organization.
So how do you know the leadership is disengaged? What are those indicators? And who's going to build the cat?
So, with a disengaged employee, it's obvious, obviously, that the performance is dropping, the person is not as active as they were, they're not as responsive at meetings. With leadership, it's a very different way. It's a very polite way of doing it. The quiet nods in the meeting. They will approve strategies that they don't intend to drive at all. So it's all polite, it's all hidden. You have to be very, very aware of what's happening and sort of match the trends, watch what's happening, and pick it up from those points onwards.
So it's like playing Johari window.
True. Yes,
right?
yes.
Are you self-aware of what you're doing and what are the people thinking about you?
Exactly.
What is hidden, what is out there?
But you see, the interesting thing is this, that where it is very difficult for probably the HR or the larger leadership to catch on to such leadership, the employee catches on first. They're able to see that the walk is not matching the talk. And when that doesn't match, that's where it costs the entire company its productivity, it costs the entire company its image, and trickles down to each of the teams wherein productivity stops, performance stops, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, because, recently when when you read HBR and you read Deloitte, good employees leave because of, bad managers, and bad managers are not being held accountable for what they're doing. So once you do spot a disengaged leadership, does HR have the audacity to go to them and say, this is just not, something is not adding up?
See, I wouldn't want to call it audacity. The reason why I would not call it audacity is because it is HR playing its role, right? That's what HR is there for. It's not there to just ding the employee for a bad disengagement or for a bad performance. It's there to ding the leadership as well, that you're going astray from what you're promising your employees.
But do people see HR as that way?
अरे मजाक तो तुम समझ रहे हो. बस एक दिन मेरी कुर्सी पर बैठकर देखो कि कितने अंगारों पर बैठता हूं मैं, कितने कांटों का ताज है मेरे सर के ऊपर. तब पता चलेगा कि कितने लोग एजुकेट हुए और कितने लोगों की गरीबी कम हुई. तब तुम यहाँ बैठना और मैं तुमसे सवाल पूछूंगा इसी प्रोग्राम में. बोलो, क्या बोलते हो?
That's a larger.
HR is /personnel/admin, remember?
It is that, but I think it's in over time in Pakistan specifically, we've started to break through.
Right.
There are certain organizations who are modeling that behavior. Yes, we're a far cry from where we were supposed to be, but at least we've started walking towards that path.
Okay, as an HR leader who's been there, you've been visionary, I've known you for quite some years, we've had very heart-to-heart conversations. How would you want to fix this?
Safe spaces. You see, if the leadership is not aware that they have a safe space to speak up and sort of address their thoughts or their qualms that they might have with whatever it is, right? That space needs to be granted across the board to everybody. And what the leadership needs to understand is that this space that is being granted to them is primarily from the perspective of speaking up on their thoughts from an overall strategic perspective. It is not agony aunt for them. It's not a space to
You remember agony aunt? Yes.
Yeah, so it's not like a space for went all. The primary purpose is to be able to get them to be engaged as much as possible so that tomorrow the teams under them can model that behavior as well.
Is there a difference between working for an MNC and working for a local conglomerate?
You're asking me to step in very hot waters right now.
Yes.
Honestly.
It has to be raw, filtered, boiled, and brewed.
No, there is no difference in Pakistan.
Really?
No, I don't think so. There's any difference in Pakistan.
Now you got my real attention. Okay, I want you to shed a little bit of light on that as well.
Satia culture?
Yeah.
Satia culture is a mindset. So it can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to be just limited to family-owned businesses. It can happen with larger MNCs as well. Because when a mindset aa jata hai na ki kingpin of all, that's when the problem starts. And that is not associated with just people who are associated with businesses as family owners. I think even where somebody becomes a decision maker, a primary decision maker or a primary person who's got control of information around them, that's where that Satia mindset starts trickling in. And that is what needs to be curbed.
And how would you do that? What would you do? What are the few, okay, give me 3 steps that you would do to tackle this scenario where you have a disengaged employee, where you have a disengaged leadership, and if there's no difference in mindset.
Correct.
What would Faizad Tariq do to make it work?
So you see, I spoke about, re-engaging the leadership. You've got to be able to re-engage the leadership and bring them on page of what's happening and what is missing.
Right.
I mean, the employee base is not interested in seeing those posters of mission and vision and, values and all of that if it is not being translated into actual behaviors that the leadership is modeling. And that is where the trainings need to happen. A lot of times what's happening is because the leadership has gone through a plethora of years, a number of exhaustive years of actually doing hardcore work. What we're failing to rather understand is that leadership needs constant training, coaching. Coaching is something that people are primarily using as a fix-it-all. Mujhe coach kar do is cheez mein and I'll be fixed. Coaching is not fixed. Coaching is all about breaking patterns and developing new behaviors that work for you. So coaching at all levels for that matter. What happens here is the minute a certain issue is identified with an employee, normally mid-level employees get targeted. कि people manager probably is at a senior manager level or a GM level person, isko coach kara do. Without realizing what if that behavior got translated from his manager or her manager.
It's cascading down from somewhere.
Cascading down from somewhere. So it has to be prompted at that level, and it has to be cyclic. It can't be a one-off. I mean, you can't treat it as a vaccine shot. एक दफा कोच कर दिया बस काफी 2 sessions हो गए. It's more than done enough with.
We spend so much money on you.
You better.
We spend so much money on you. 2 coaching sessions were not enough.
But you see, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it is not enough, right?
So once that gets right, then it cascades down, and then a disengaged employees, whatever hierarchy level they're sitting at, it kind of trickles down.
It trickles down. It helps them break patterns that are not serving them any longer.
So it's like a behavioral heat map.
Yes, it is.
You have to identify what's happening where. Where is the red, where is the yellow, where is the green?
So you see, you've done the heat map and all, right? What I'm trying to also say is that forget with the typical, what normally happens is that disengagement is an issue that comes up in a, let's just say, a talk of sorts, right? First thing, what does the organization do? Town hall kara lo, engagement survey kara lo. That doesn't help. What an employee wants to see.
Because that is your quantitative. How are you bringing that into action?
But what's the point of doing quantitative data when you're not going to work on it?
Exactly.
Close the cycle. Nobody bothers closing this cycle. The employee sees that engagement survey ho gaya. The employee sees that town hall ho gayi, posters lag gaye, sab kuch ho gaya. What now? Has the behavior really changed? Did you actually do something actionable on the data that you received?
And how do you measure that?
That'll take time. And you know what? You'll automatically see it because where leadership feels safe in speaking up, the employee will automatically, psychologically feel safe in speaking up as well. So then your culture gets impacted. Your culture is more positive. You're not working. I'm sorry, I'm taking a platform's name over here. वो जो LinkedIn optimism है ना, all hunky dory, सब कुछ खुशबाश है, वो automatically दिख जाता है कि what's real and what's not real.
Have you thought of actually running some, leaders through this? Have you done that?
I think a lot of people have tried to do that, besides myself. I think some of us are still trying. What's important is that before we do that, थोड़ा सा गरिबान के अंदर झांक लें और चेक कर लें.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, at a lot of levels, leadership feels they're beyond training. They don't need to learn anything
Yeah,
new.
we are the know-alls.
The know-alls.
Yeah.
The know-all aspect needs to break away first. So I think what's important is maybe even create forums where just leadership meets and वो सिर्फ अपने कहते हैं ना वो तमगे नहीं झाड़ रहे हो, badges का show off
Yeah.
नहीं हो रहा. You're actually raw,
Yeah.
truthful about what your shortcomings are.
Yeah.
Address them and then watch how people are going to help you prove them wrong.
Exactly. As they say, right, leadership is created in a vacuum. Where there is space, you become a leader.
Yes.
Unfortunately, over here, leaders that we have, some are very good. I will not generalize at all. That
No.
is going to be very, very unfair. But mostly enjoy the title, enjoy the,
The perks and the
authority
benefits, yes.
of being the leader.
See, is it Superman's movie? Which one is it? With great powers come great responsibility,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So that lives for
That
a leadership as well.
I think that he meant leadership only.
That is what
and
it was.
leadership could be anything. It could be in a
Anybody.
school, it could be in a corporate, it could be in any sector, any
Anywhere.
space where
And
there is.
it doesn't necessarily also have to be the top tier. It's the middle tier also.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily only have to be the middle tier. जो कि ये भी होता है कि reverse हो जाता है कि सिर्फ middle tier पे focus आ रहा है.
Yeah.
So it's at all levels, anywhere where you are leading people,
Yeah.
however small the number may be,
Yeah.
that's where leadership skills come in. And it has to be
I will
trained.
be calling you again to speak about the next step for this. How do people respond to safe spaces? Because that is the next thing I really want to have you. Because, we do, even if we say we have a, safe space where you can come and go, the fear of coming out, the being vulnerable enough, that is also something that needs to be, I think, told. That needs to be role modeled.
It's two sides of the same coin, Nasaman. Disengagement and psychological and physiological safety of the
Yeah.
employee. And not just employee at any level, I'm talking about across the entire board level, right?
Absolutely.
So it's two sides to the same coin. You fix one, you've got the other one sorted as well. But one has to understand that when I come back to the actual question that we were talking about, or the topic that we were talking about, disengaged leaders, definitely the biggest liability that an organization can have.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
And it has been, while I would like to dig in further. And I will be calling you again and so that we can speak about the next step.
Yes.
Where safe spaces are created and safe spaces need a lot of people to be vulnerable. So that is another psychological aspect that we will be getting into. But thank you so much. We had Faiza Tariq with us, shedding light on a very, very important question, disengaged employees versus disengaged leadership. With that note, thank you very much. This program has been hosted by Funverks Media. Inshallah, see you soon. Thank you.